I just wanted to get on here and talk for a few minutes. I got a comment recently saying that, because I posted a video asking for your guys' help with, what do you do when you're bored and you have a chronic illness and you have POTS and you literally can't get up and do anything because it causes you to flare up your symptoms and it just makes everything worse. And, I don't think they were trying to be rude or anything, but they're like, you can't let your symptoms control your life. And, I agree with that to an extent. I'm not trying to let them control my life. It just does sometimes, out of my control. I can't just push through my symptoms all the time. I have POTS. I do have presyncope. They diagnosed me with presyncope, however, I have passed out. I can't push myself too far because my thing is, I have other stuff going on other than postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I've been trying to tell you guys a little bit more about that, so maybe you guys can help me. And I have more going on than POTS, and other doctors think so too. They just cannot figure it out. That's why I have a tilt table test coming up in a few days. I have to see a neurologist and a rheumatologist in April, and we're talking about going to the Mayo Clinic. Personally, if I do not get any answers from anyone near me and the doctors I see within the next several months, I'm probably going to end up trying to get into the Mayo Clinic. And I know a lot of you say, don't do it, it's not worth it. It's worth it to me because at least I know that I tried everything that I could. And Mayo Clinic, I've heard, those are some of the best hospitals. They see and deal with stuff that small town doctors around us don't deal with and they don't know about. My doctors near me, half of them haven't even heard of POTS and they don't even know what it is. They try telling me what to do when they know nothing about POTS. They just look it up before they come into the room. That's why when I was transferred out of state, I loved my doctors. Literally, one of my cardiologists specialized in tachycardia and POTS and a list of other things. They were my dream team doctors. I had a team of doctors. They were trying to figure everything out and do what was best for me at the time. I was diagnosed at the end of July 2024, beginning of August of 2024. And at that time, I was only experiencing POTS symptoms, okay? So whenever I was discharged from there, I only had POTS symptoms. That's all they saw. That's all we thought I had until not even a month later, I started experiencing paralysis, severe cold hands and feet compared to usual, heavy limbs more than usual. Everything was exaggerated to a point where I was in bed all the time. And I'm still in bed a lot of the time, but I get around the house and I do stuff. I make the bed. I clean the room almost every day. It gets messy really quickly. I do dishes when I can. I take my shower. It takes a lot out of me. I love taking my showers every day, and I'm probably not going to stop that. It does flare up my symptoms, but it's something that I always used to love, and it's not going to stop me from taking them. I've worked really hard to be where I'm at with my body physically, and the last few months it's drained me mentally too, but I feel like maybe I'm starting to get to a place where it's getting a little better mentally. It's just very hard on me. I am not trying to let my chronic illness control my life. I'm not trying to let my symptoms control my life, but whenever I have POTS and I possibly have something else going on, I don't want to push myself too far because you never know. Me having POTS and having something else, what if the other thing's life-threatening? What if I push myself too far and then it causes something and I go, you know what I mean? I could end up in the emergency room for life-threatening reasons. Now, one of the times I was in the emergency room, I went to the emergency room in hospitals plenty of times before that, and they never told me that I had an abnormal QCT or QTC, whatever it's called, QT. They never told me that, and I went in there that day with my oxygen read 75 and my heart rate was 24 or 25. I have POTS, which is a high heart rate, and it goes up to 165, and today is a better day, and it's the highest it's been so far. Today is 165. Imagine how high it goes on my worst day. But I went to the emergency room with a heart rate of 24, 25, and my oxygen about 75 or whatever I said. And at first, the ER doctor, he did not believe me. He's like, your pulse ox is reading wrong, this and that. I don't think your heart rate was really that low. Tell me which ones you have, or which one you have at home. He's like, why do you even have that? And I explained it to him. Not even an hour later, he came back and he's like, he goes, I don't know, like, how this is happening, but he goes, I just got your results back. It is life-threatening. I'm admitting you into this hospital. He's like, I do not feel comfortable or safe letting you go home knowing that your levels were possibly actually that low. He goes, it probably was 24, 25. He goes, that's too low. And then he's like, do you have the pulse ox with you by chance? And I'm like, yes, my mom has it. My mom pulled out her bag. She put it on her finger. He's like, okay, that's reading correctly. Put it on his finger. It's reading correctly. And he's like, it does have the little bars on the side that it's supposed to for it to read more accurately and this and that. So at one point, I was admitted into the hospital for life-threatening complications, issues, whatever. And then that's how I was transferred out of state to another hospital. I was diagnosed with POTS at that time. And nobody before that, no doctors, told me about my prolonged heart rate. So my point of this whole entire video is that I'm going to push myself as far as I can, or as far as I think I can go, without pushing myself too far, because if I push myself way too far, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to be in bed all day. I'm lucky enough to be able to do what I'm doing right now. There's a lot of people with POTS and chronic illnesses or autoimmune disorders, and literally so many things out there with so many people with health issues and stuff that can't get out of bed, that literally can't do anything. I'm lucky enough to go from one room to another some days. Some days I can't, but I'm lucky enough to be able to get out of bed and put my feet on the floor and get to the other room some days. Some days I can't, but I'm lucky enough to have those days that I can. And, obviously whenever it's that time of the month, you're on your period, POTS symptoms are extremely worse. Okay, and I'm aware of that. From what I think is that I had POTS from the beginning of 2024, or POTS symptoms that were noticeable from the beginning of 2024 to August of 2024. I think I just had POTS, and something developed along the way that made POTS symptoms extremely worse, because you could get another chronic illness or an autoimmune disorder that makes your chronic illness you had worse, or it could develop into other things. So I think that's what happened to me. I think mine just started out with having one chronic illness, POTS, and that it's something happened. I don't know if it was through my nervous system or if I have an autoimmune disorder or whatever. I think something happened, and it was probably from the POTS and all the stress and this and that. It probably collided, and it's probably causing something else that's going on. I am not letting my chronic illness define who I am. I'm a person. I am more than my chronic illness. Now, me posting about my chronic illness all the time isn't to get attention. It's not to come across in a negative way. It's to inform people and help people, and so that they can help me too. I'm not being selfish. Like, I want them to help me, but I'm going to help you guys as much as I can, like, with what I know. And like, if you think you have POTS, maybe one of my videos can help you, and then you could talk to your doctor about it and bring it up, like, hey, I've been researching lately, I might have POTS, or have symptoms of POTS and some of these other things. I'm here to spread awareness, but I'm also here to show you guys who I am, as I try to do. I've been posting videos recently, not just about my POTS, but about me, my boyfriend, stuff we did, like we went out on New Year's. Like, I still go out and do things, but there's a lot of days and a lot of times I can't. So, and today I'm proud of what I've done. I've gotten up from bed, I've cleaned, done dishes, and now and I took a shower, I'm gonna eat a chocolate rose.